You are listening to a very special edition of Time for Hemp live all around the world on AmericanFreedomRadio.com and on AM/FM stations all across America. Tonight, we send our love out to Marc Emery and his lovely wife, Jodi, here on Time for Hemp. Thank you for taking Time for Hemp. I am your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening to a special broadcast of the Time for Hemp live series on AmericanFreedomRadio.com and on AM/FM stations all around the world. Tonight, we are sending out love to our friends, Marc and Jodi Emery. They are at Cannabis Culture. They are live now at their website, and they are doing what we call a money bomb. And they are doing it to help Marc Emery get back into Canada. Your contributions will help that happen. And if you want to find out more, you can go to CannabisCulture.com. And also, you will find out when you go there, you can call 604-669-9069. You can use your Visa, your MasterCard. You can go by PayPal. If you want to send a snail mail check or money order, they'll be happy with that. Right now, they've already raised $16,118, and we certainly want to see that total grow. Tonight, we are doing 2 hours of love, no interruptions. That's how love is sometimes. One big hug, one long embrace. And that is exactly what Marc Emery has given the marijuana movement. His arms have reached the globe all around the world. Marc Emery is responsible for many of the strains that are growing in Canada and in California and in Oregon and in so many other places where it is legal to grow. And yet, there he sits in a prison because of our United States government being absolutely horrified of this one man. Well, I don't know if you tuned in last night, but for those of you who did not, I couldn't help but notice something funny, really, really funny in the headlines. It said, Feds oppose California Prop 19 to legalize marijuana. Well, you might as well say the sun comes up every morning. Because, look, one of the main reasons why the Feds are opposed to it is because when it passes, you'll be given pink slips. Or those of you who are still with the department will be doing other things besides this civil war. Anyway, the Attorney General, Eric Holder, is warning that the federal government will not look the other way, as it has with medical marijuana, if voters next month make California the first state to legalize pot. So basically, this public official who we elect into office, well, I guess not, he was appointed by the president. Okay, I'll give you that. Saying he doesn't really care what the voters say, what the people of the country say, what the majority says, a country where majority rules. To him, that's Mox Nix. That's irrelevant. All right? He says he is going to go ahead and jump in there and just kick butts. He said marijuana is illegal under federal law, which drug agents will vigorously enforce against anyone carrying, growing, or selling it, Holder said. Well, Eric Holder, number one, did you ever listen to your own president of the United States? I have. You can find him on my website, timeforhemp.com. And that's the number for Eric. And if you're not listening, if you're one of Eric's agents who are being paid to listen, make sure he gets the message. But you can go there. You can find President Obama talking about how he smoked it. He even inhaled. And he states that he's not going to prosecute patients and doctors in the states where it's legal. So it sounds to me that you're even superseding your own president of the United States. And Eric Holder, I have another question for you. You know, the Veterans Administration, they have stated that if you are a veteran and you need medical marijuana, you are allowed to have it, and it will not disrupt your benefits as a veteran. The Veterans Administration has even recognized it as it being a medical help to people who need it, especially their own soldiers. So, okay. And Eric Holder, as you go to and from the White House and the Capitol and the Senate, you drive by medical marijuana dispensaries that someday you may need. because you're getting to be old and apparently feeble-minded, and there's going to be a time when you might need it for your arthritis to help you with what apparently might be an Alzheimer's problem, maybe a bipolar problem. I don't know, you seem to be going from one side to another. There's a lot of things that this might help you for. And to be honest, Eric Holder, if you were smoking pot and actually being in charge of a government office, I'd have more faith in you being able to make a more rational decision than listening to some of the silly crap you're putting out now. I mean, it has been proven to be a medical benefit. And Eric Holder, I have a question for you. Marijuana has proven to be a fuel source. That you know. You know that for a fact. You know that for every acre we grow, we can get 20 barrels of oil. And we could be free from foreign dependency. And we could be keeping that money at home and putting it into the pockets of our farmers and creating jobs here. And yet, you still proceed with these silly policies. Marijuana has proven to be able to produce over 50,000 different products, from fiber to fuel, to food to paint, to plastic to paper. And this would also produce millions more jobs. No one has ever died from smoking marijuana. And Eric Holder, you yourself know for a fact that the war on drugs is a total failure. So, my question to you, Eric Holder, is how do you go out your front door and stand in front of the press day in and day out and say such ignorant things that you do? I mean, really, you are a smart man. You obviously do know the truth. I can only believe that you are acting as a puppet for someone else's agenda. So tell me, Eric Holder, just who exactly has their hand up your tuchus, making you say all those silly things? Oh, boy, I'll tell you, it has been really an interesting roller coaster since I became an activist in the marijuana movement. And I want to thank Jack Hare for making that possible. I love Jack Hare. If it had not been for Jack Hare, I would not be doing what I'm doing now. And for those of you at the DEA, the FBI, the CIA, and Homeland Security, if you're wondering, where can I learn the truth at? Well, you can go to jackhare.com and you can get 2 copies of this groovy little book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes. And if you open up that book, you'll find that our own government agencies, all the way back to World War II, kept records on what marijuana can do, and you can find out by looking into your own backyard. What I think is disgusting is the way that you have kept us down. You've used these laws to keep us suppressed, to keep the black market rich, and to keep hardworking farmers poor, all in the name of the love of oil, the love of greed, the love of dead presidents. Well, that's pathetic, to sell your country out like that. And what agitates me more is that there are millions of people who know the truth. And Eric Holder, these millions of people are standing up and they're going to the voting ballot, and they are actually voting these laws down, and you are still saying, I don't care what you say at the voting ballot. You know, this is America, but your vote don't count. How flagrant is that? Eric Holder, you're even saying, I don't care what the president has to say. I'm the smart man on the totem pole. I'm going to run it here. Eric Holder, have you listened to the own drug czar? Did you see how he handled it in his own state, in his own city? Eric Holder, can you wake up and smell the coffee? Or in this case, can you wake up and smell the aroma of wonderful marijuana whiffing across the entire state of California and blowing itself evenly across the rest of the United States, finally ending this horrific war on drugs? I hope you can see that, because millions and millions of us see that. And what you can see, you can realize. And if you can realize that dream, you can change the world. And by ending this war on drugs, Eric Holder, we would change the world. That's why we are asking President Obama to be just like Abraham Lincoln and end this civil war. This civil war that has divided this nation. This civil war that has pit brother against brother and father against son. This civil war that has cost taxpayers an enormous amount of money, robbed America of its treasures. This civil war that has taken lives, ruined families, all in the name of the war on drugs. Eric Holder, I'm asking you to be accountable to the people of the United States, not to whoever has their hand up your tuchus telling you exactly what to say. It's pathetic. I mean, how pathetic. You got voters saying we're changing the laws. You got 14, 15 states that are changing the laws. You got Congressman Barney Frank trying to change laws. Congressman Ron Paul. You got governors who are signing laws and so that their states can give it to their patients. You got former governor of New Mexico going down and lobbying personally to change these laws. Are you ignorant? Are you blind? No. Eric Holder, I know you. You are a very smart man. I give you credit for having a very high IQ. And I also give you credit, sir, for being a fair man in many ways, which is why I'm very surprised at your stance here recently. Why don't you take your agents and do something a little more, worthwhile with them? There are people out there who are gunning down other people, killing other people, kicking in doors of little old ladies and little old men and beating them in the head and taking their little coin collections. Why don't you do something about that for a change? Instead of going after a pot smoker. Oh, I know. Pot smokers don't fight back. Makes it so much easier. Eric Holder, show some courage. Show some backbone. Stand up for our country. Tell the troops on your side of the fence that the war really is over. You don't believe me? You can go to leap.cc, LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. And you can learn all about it there. You got judges there, prosecuting attorneys there, former sheriff, former DEA, former chiefs of police, all standing shoulder to shoulder in this foxhole on this side of the fence, telling you your policies are wrong and you need to get with it, wake up, and smell the coffee. Eric Holder, that's my personal message to you, and I ask that you come on to my show as a guest and actually defend your statements. I promise you, if you do, I will treat you with courtesy. I will not blind you with a surprise question or two. And I will give you the opportunity to express yourself. But I got a funny feeling, Eric Holder, you don't have the courage to face the people that you're prosecuting. With that said, we're going to a caller. Caller, thank you for taking time for hemp.
Hi, Casper. It's Carey Burns with the Cannabis Corner.
Hi, Carey. Happy Saturday. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Man, I'm really excited. We're doing this great special tonight on behalf of Marc and Jodi Emery, and this gives me a chance before we get any further to remind people to call 604-669-9069 and donate to the money bomb that Marc and Jodi Emery have put together there at cannabisculture.com. Carey, you've got a great show. Why don't you tell my audience a little bit about it?
Well, basically, when I started the show out, it was sort of an educational thing. I wanted to show people how cannabis actually became illegal in this country and how the powers that be went about it in an illegal fashion. So we pretty much started a few years before the Marijuana Tax Act, and we've kind of done episodes all the way up to the present. And after we got through the legal portion of it all, through the Controlled Substance Act and the different law things that they've tried to pull over the American people, then we've been doing some just sort of shows like yours where we point out a lot of different facts to people just to kind of wake them up and show them that, you know, this has been a travesty from the beginning. And the very fact that they put Marc Emery in jail for anything is a crime in itself.